HIV, otherwise known as human immunodeficiency virus, is a very serious retrovirus that affects approximately 36.7 million people worldwide today. HIV was first discovered in the 1980s by a joint group of researchers from the Pasteur University in Paris and the University of California in their investigation for the cause of AIDS. As research has continued, it has been accepted that HIV originated in the 1920s in the Democratic Republic of the Congo when blood from chimpanzees containing the virus SIV was mixed with human blood, the most likely cause of this being human consumption of chimpanzee meat. This theory is supported by the fact that there are 4 genetically different strains of HIV. When a human would have come in contact with the infected blood, the virus would have developed differently, creating a new strain of which there are 4, M, N, O, and P.
There are many different parts of the retrovirus HIV, which helps it become so complex. Retrovirus transcriptase is used to create a complementary DNA sequence of the RNA. The viral RNA genome is where all of the genes are located for the virus. The matrix is used to maintain the structure of the virus. The capsid is used to enclose the virus's genetic material. Integrase is used to put the viral genetic information into the infected cell's DNA. GP41 is used to attach GP120 to the virus. GP20 is used to attach the cell receptors, so that way the virus can attach to the cell. VIF, VPR, NEF, and P7 contain information to create proteins vital to the virus. Protease is an enzyme responsible for breaking down proteins and peptides. The lipid membrane is used to protect the cell and allow materials in and out. The nucleocapsid is used to enclose nucleic acid.
As of 2015, the distribution of HIV throughout the world is as follows: Eastern and Southern Africa, 19 million people; Western and Central Africa, 6.5 million; Asia and the Pacific, 5.1 million; Western and Central Europe, as well as North America, 2.4 million; Latin America and the Caribbean, 2 million; Eastern Europe and Central Asia, 1.5 million; and the Middle East and North Africa, only 230,000. Sub-Saharan Africa is currently the most devastated area by HIV due to factors such as poverty, poor sexual protection practices, as well as lack of treatment options. HIV is primarily contracted through sexual intercourse or needle sharing, and is used to be contracted through blood donor and transfusion contamination before proper screening methods were put in place. While HIV initially attacks the body's immune system, once it has full control, the effects of HIV are devastating on the body as a whole, because the body is less efficient at defending itself, allowing many other infections to wreak havoc on the entire body. HIV is specific to humans, but other related strains affect other species, as seen in monkeys. HIV primarily affects your immune system, but leads to additional infection everywhere else in the body. Some examples are cancer, tuberculosis, or pneumonia. There are several treatment options for HIV. Currently there are 6, including non-nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors, nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors, protease inhibitors, fusion inhibitors, CCR5 antagonists, and integrase strand transfer inhibitors. All of these medications primarily affect the different levels of viral replication of HIV. Personal preventative measures include safe sexual practices, either abstinence and or use of male condoms, always using clean sanitary unused needles. Also, if a mother has HIV, it is usually smart to avoid breastfeeding their children. As far as treatment, there has been much use supporting antiretroviral regimens that are provided to people after potential exposure. It is not until the last 3 years that research demonstrated the effectiveness of antiretrovirals for prevention prior to exposure. Post-exposure medications have significantly reduced maternal to child transmission of HIV as long as they are given to infant very soon after birth and have been widely available. However, the utilization of antiretroviral medications before exposure ever happened was not widely supported due to fears of potential development of resistance to the virus, as well as poor tolerability of the medication due to side effects. More recently, as of 2014, PrEP, or pre-exposure prophylaxis, became available. These medications are available, although very expensive in the USA, and are potentially to everyone who identifies themselves as fitting into a high-risk category. High-risk categories have been defined by the Center for Disease Control as including individuals who have sexual partners who are known to have HIV, injection drug users, gay men, transgender women, heterosexual but have multiple partners, and a few other categories of individuals. If a person is willing to see a provider who is able to provide both the necessary prescription and provide follow-up labs to the patient, then the person can take a pill daily to prevent HIV. Taking the pill regularly reduces the effectiveness, and if you contract HIV, it is critical that you stop this medication and see a provider to get the appropriate treatment. Almost anyone can get HIV, regardless of gender, race, socioeconomic class, or sexuality. Unfortunately, some categories of people are more impacted by HIV transmission for reasons embedded in gender, race, socioeconomic class, and sexuality. For example, poor people in poor countries have difficulty gaining education and treatment for HIV, and those who take part in certain sexual practices are more prone to get HIV.